Hi guys, this is Nancy Lynn from Sew Euphoria. I am working on a project, and this is going to be a whole set. I'll loop them all together. I'll call it the Red Hens. I'm making some journals for my Red Hens. We each have to do a program, and mine is on slow stitching. You know, and the question always comes up with slow stitching about, well, what do you do with it? Well, I figured I would show them. I made them the basic journal, and I'm going to take this through step by step. And so this was kind of the first step that I took on here, to make a little bit more of a hard cover than a soft cover. And this is the first page that they can use as a journal cover. But I want them to make a soft journal cover afterwards, and I'll show you pictures as we're going through of the ones that I've completed. But I figured that would give them a project to work towards. What you're going to need is a paper plate or something that you can pour it into. I've got some old Elmer's glue, watered down. I do maybe 2/3 to 1/3. A pack of, I picked these up because being the Red Hens, I decided I would go with a more of a country type flair for this journal. And so I found these, the gingham ones, and so this is what we're going to be using. And what you want, and there are plenty more videos like this out here, but I just wanted to include this as part of my whole thing for the Red Hens. You know, your napkins come in 2-ply, 3-ply, 4-ply. This one from the Dollar Tree is 2-ply. And so what you're going to do is grab a corner, work it out. Some people use a piece of tape, but to me you lose this bottom piece when you do that because it's got a big hole in it. So I'll just fiddle with the corner until I get them to separate, and then you just kind of pull them apart. Oh, see, now that one's split, so a couple of places. Best laid plans, you know how that is. I know what happened. A little bit of that glue came out of the... I might have a couple of spots that when I was showing you the glue, a few drops splashed onto my napkin, so you can see it holds real well. Okay, so there we go. We've got our napkin. And now we have this. Oh, and the other thing that you're going to need is, this is not cardstock. It's lighter than cardstock, but heavier than copier paper. I got it through Amazon. And all I'm going to do is lay this out. I want a little bit around each edge hanging over so that I can fold it over and then lay this on there. And so I just figure where I've got the best part of it. And with this gingham, it's easy to get a good line. That's a good spot right there. Doesn't have to be perfect because it's all going to be folded under. Alright, so once you've got all that set up, make sure you use something non-stick. I have these little placemats up underneath here. You're going to turn it over, and you're just going to kind of flatten it out a little bit. And I'll just have to be careful right there. I've got a tear, but it will go down. And now I'm just going to pour some of those, and see, this has got some of that glue on it. You don't need a whole bunch. You can always pour more if you need it. Keep a good old paper towel handy. I use kind of a good size brush to do this with. It's not real soft. I use this to put my gesso and stuff on paintings and all the rest of that. And what you're going to do is just keep your brush wet. I saw this hint somewhere in one of them that I had seen. You just want to keep it on your thing though, because it is messy. And then just keep working it out, but keep your brush wet with the glue solution. If not, you will tear the napkin. If you keep it wet, and you may have to lift it up and pull it out a little bit every now and then. But I don't mind the crinkles. I like the crinkles in it. And I'm just going to keep working this all the way out. And even though you'll see where the edge is of my paper underneath, but I want it to go all the way out because I still want this to have some texture what I'm going to fold under. It makes it so that it's not. And I just kind of do a circular in the center and then just keep pulling it out. And I found it's easier if you kind of work in quadrants. Like I've got that one done. Now I'll come over here. And then with these mats are wonderful because then you can take it and turn it and you don't have to be stretching across it. You can keep, but it's just keeping this glue solution that's wetter than glue. It's thinner than like a syrup solution. I mean, it pours very easily. And you're just going to keep doing this. All the way around. But you want to make sure that your brush stays wet. If it gets dry, you will tear it. See, and I want my edges to stay all nice and straight, and I think I'm going to need just a little bit more glue. Whoop, that was a little more than a little bit. But I have more of these than I'm going to be doing, so. Because our group is grown, there was 20, I'm making 20 journals. For the group, and it's grown, and now we need 22, so I'm on my last 7 of these journals, and hopefully the girls, the hens, will love it. So, and that's what you're going to do. You're just going to let it sit and dry. It dries a couple hours to make sure it's really good and dry, and then once it's good and dry, I'm sorry, I'm moving it somewhere else. And I will have several of these sheets, and I will just keep going through them until I have all I need. I do 3 at a time because I have 3 of these sheets to work on. But that was the first part that I wanted to show you. And when this dries, I'll come back and show you the next part. Thank you. There'll be no time to you, but for me it might be a couple hours. Alright, hi guys, how are you? We are in another part of the red hens situation. We've gotten our outside pieces made, and I will show you. I have cut out all my ephemera, and I've put them, I went through and did 20, so I got to do 2 more of these things, and inside I have all pieces of ephemera cut up that I may or may not use, but I've pretty well gotten down to a pattern for each one. They're all different, but they have similarities. And so in here I have all of my cutouts, and you know, they come on a piece of paper like this. You can see when you get them and you print them out. I'm sorry, there's a shadow coming today. But you get these, and then I have found I've done them both ways. I've printed them on cardstock, and I think on the cardstock maybe it absorbs the ink more, so these don't come out as pronounced, the colors and the, so I've gone to now where I'm printing them out on regular printer paper and then gluing them to cardstock. Yeah, it's an extra step, but it just seems that the colorations are a lot better than what they were before. Now see, but then other times this is one printed out on a cardstock and you know it's got good coloration. I don't know, maybe it's just the way you hold your hands. I don't know what the reason is, but here is the outside cover, the one that we did with the napkin, and then here is, this is going to be, it'll be one, each one is one signature, and excuse me, I've gotten all my pages together. I have gone through and, as you've seen before, sewn the pages together. They've glued and then sewn. And I have not done any type of fastener to hold them all together yet or not. I'm doing that at the end just in case I wanted to stick anything else in. But these have, basically they're all the same. They have three. This one I used in every single one just because we're a quilting group, and so I thought that was perfect for that. Then there's this one for sunflowers. And now see, this one's not a typical one because a lot of them have three, so I'll have to switch that one out. Then I gave them a couple of good clear pages to journal on, seeing this is for their Red Hens group, so they can write notes and all the rest of that. And so there's two of those. Usually one of them is sewn and one is not, but they are printed front and back. Then these are some of the papers that I did that were dyed a couple of weeks ago, and some of them are just so pretty. I don't know if you can see the detail in them or not, but one day I'll do a video on that process. And then of course you've got the double on the other side, and then, but this is standard in every one of them. This, the red cover, and the number of pages that are in there. Now I'm going to add in some extra specialty paper. I'm going to set this aside, and I'm going to do some, these are some papers, and if you get a chance to get some of them, they are all handmade papers that are offcuts, and you can get these at Walmart, and they're like $3.99 for a package of them. And there's all kinds of handmade paper in these. You can see this one's got different types of organic materials in it, just all kinds. So if you're working with paper and you like paper, that is a great deal. Now what we're going to do is, let me grab my little thing of washi tape, and I'm going to put these so that there's a little space in between so that they can fold properly. And I'm going to use my tacky glue, and I'm just going to put a bead of glue down each side. So that washi tape is good, and it might hold, but I just like that extra security of knowing. And I'm just going to pull out, this is much longer, no, this one's a different one, and I'm just going to push it down to the side to hold the pages together, lift up on it, flip it over. I'm going to use a little glue. Fold this edge down. pull this out some more. Add more glue. This is probably overkill. I mean, it probably could just hold like it is, but I like to make sure they're nice and secure. I'm going to take this, put it back up. You can tear your washi tape. Flip this back over again. Judge about how big that is. Put some glue. Bring that last piece of washi tape down. Use your fingers to. And so now you've got these two pieces of paper that you can put in there and fold it, and it folds much easier. It would be too bulky with the washi tape and all that. And so what I've been doing is just putting these in between, right before the writing pages, and putting those in there, one on every side. So that gives them 4 sides of the paper for extra writing. Now some of these are taller than others, and when I've been doing this, I've been pushing these down more and then pushing this up so that it's not all super bulky at one spot. Putting it back in here, and you'll see this is a little bit over, but I don't care because this is a little longer. Get them all nice and straight, and they're all going to fit right in there. And so from this point, what I'm going to do is go to my center page. Okay, opened right up. Make sure they're all nice and aligned the way that I want to. Make sure it folds properly. I like these big jumbo clips to do this. You can use the littler ones. You can use whatever you want to clamp it, but I clamp it here. That holds my pages securely. So then I can bring in my crocodile and you can measure this. You want it about an inch down. You want it in the center, which that one wasn't exactly. And then you want one here. Flip it around. And as you can see, the crocodile has a little peg that comes down, and that's what's piercing the material. But it has this long reach on it, and it's great for bookmaking. And I'm coming in about an inch again, and I have that. So now what I'm going to do is take this oh, I didn't push this in with it. I'll take that one out. Now I need my pen. It's right here. And I'm going to line this up so that it's not over coming on the bottom and it's not sticking out too far on the top. I'm going to look for where my holes are. And I'm going to put a mark on that side. There's another one right here. And then there's a third one right there. Now this will take a little bit more push, but you go in and you line it up on that little mark. And this way they will all match up. Oh, it's my pen. Normally it's nice and sturdy. I was like, what in the world is going on? Why is it tilting so bad? Mark it. We got one more in the center. Mark it. Okay, so now we have this all set up. I'm going to bring this back over, flip it open, kind of get my holes lined up. I'm going to take some baker's twine. I go 3 times, 1, 2, 3, and we're going to cut it. Now, these plastic tapestry needles work great for this. You have metal ones too. I just happen to have these around and they work great. Now, normally a 3-hole pamphlet you start in the middle, but I want some of this dangling from here, and I didn't decide till I'd gotten quite a few of these done, so some of them I do have the center, but I'm going to start from here, and I'm going to start from the outside, and I'm going to run my needle through the hole and then through there, and I'm going to pull it till I still leave a tail of the string coming out. Now I'm going to come this time down and meet this one and pull it through, and you just want to be careful that you don't pull this one out. Then I'm going to come through the center, coming from here, and you can always, so you can see, fold your pages there. And now I'm going to come, did I? Through the magic of TV, we'll undo this one. Or video. I switched my book around from the way my holes were. That will happen. It's probably easier if you put up or down. This is what switched. See how my holes are now lining up correctly. Before they were the opposite direction. So we'll just do this once again. We're going to come through. Come through. We're going to go down to the end. And go through. We're going to go through the middle one. Yeah, that's much better. And you can, like I said, fold these around so that you can see the holes. Now we have this. Now I'm aiming to have 2 strings up at the top. So I'm going to pull that there. And before I go any further, I want to get rid of some of that there. I'm going to go through this hole, bring it around, and now you're going to see I have it coming out here, but I don't. So one more time, I'm going to go through this one. And you don't want to catch, you can catch in between the threads, but you don't want to and we're going to go through this last one, turn it over, and now what I want is these to be even. They're just about even, but I'm going to pull to get a little more with this one. There we go. Now what I am going to do is I'm going to take one of these and lace it up underneath the string that's there. That way I can pull it taut. Tie it. I'm hearing an awful lot of noise outside. And tie it. Oh, it's the rubbish man. And we've got this and this. And so now our book is all held together. The pages are all in there. They're not going to come out. And now we get to go to the fun part, which is decorating. And so I kind of have a set formula that I'm doing for these. Now I have these, like the old tape rulers, and I'm going to put one of those there. You don't have to lay it up like this. So I've got one of those there. I am using one of these on each one of my things, my little drills. Then I need a piece of this. This I just got at the Dollar Tree. And I'm just going to use a piece of this. And then I need, this is my little one of all little things that I've made that I've got ready to go. And this is as the red hens. And that's going to go right there. And somewhere we have a little bag of little flowers, but I'll get those. Now, each one of these, the paper ones I can glue down with my tacky. This one I'm going to have to glue down with my Fabri-Tac. This is burlap, and it will show through a lot more. This one will just change kind of the color of this burlap. It'll make it darker. And I'm going to cover it generously. Not on me. I was checking to make sure I was in frame for you. And I'm gonna, these two threads on that lace that's on it are not really firm on there. It's big, big, big loose stitches. But and now that's gonna go right there, and I'm just pushing down lightly, but to make sure that it's getting secure. And as I'm pushing, I want to make sure those outside edges are really secure. But that one I like to put on first because that way it gets more of a chance to dry. And always put your lid back on your Fabri-Tac because it will grow and expand. Now we're going to put a generous amount of glue to the edges. This one's going to go in the middle. Rub in the center and work your way out. And these other two pieces I do want to distress. I am using Distressed Oxide Vintage Photo by Ranger. And I do this around the cards. You'll see me use a lot of this just to darken the edges a little bit. It makes it distress so that you don't see the cut paper, the white of it, the core. Right, and we're going to do this. Now this would be great if it would go that way, but it's going to lay sideways because it's not enough room. That's going to go there. And then last but not least, our tape measure. Okay, so we have that. Now I do want to put a word on each one. And we'll call this one buttons. Which one of you have tried to use a different one on there? And just trim all around right to that dark line. And then take our distress ink. We're going to put our little buttons. Alright, now excuse me while I shuffle paper around a little bit because I'm trying to find my, there they are. These I got at Goodwill. There was a big bag of them. And they were $1.99. And they have worked perfect for this project. They're little peel and stick little roses in red. It's funny when I go to the, it just seems like just the right thing will pop up when you go. You don't know why you're buying it when you're there. And then the project will show. It's like, perfect. So this has got stickum, but I don't know how old these are, so I am going to add extra tacky glue. I'll stick that right in the center, and I'm just squeezing it down. And holding it. And so now we have our basic cover. We've got the red hens on there. But I am going to add some to the back of the cover. And I have to remember to leave enough room for the tie to go on. Well, that's like alpha and omega, the beginning and the end. Alright, so we're going to put that. Let's see what else I have that I can put on here. Maybe we can put the little girl with the chickens. Let's see what I have that's so related. I've got showing a blanket stitch. Here we go. And those will all go there. Great. And those will go on our back cover, so it's not all just plain. Now you'll see on here what the distress does. Just gives it that more faded, aged look. And this is one that I'm showing you. Remember, I've done 22 of these. Well, I haven't quite finished. This is, what is this one? This one is number 15, 16. Yeah, I've got 6 more to go after this. So I have these, and once again, I'll go back to my old reliable Aleene's tacky glue. Now you can use hot glue, you can use 3-in-1 glue, you can use anything you want to do. I just like Aleene's because I know it sticks and it stays. All around the edges. Then I'll take my a paper towel just to make sure that none of the glue is leaked out. We'll put our little feather stitch, right, our blanket stitch right there. And we've got our little girl with the chickens. And we'll put her kind of up here. My in camera. Alright, so now we have both our front cover and then we have our back cover. And now the one thing we're going to put on here is I've been trying to put some trim around these, and I have some different laces, and I think we'll use this one because right here some of these did not catch perfectly, and so I wanted to make sure that that was covered. And so we're going to do that piece, and we'll measure another one. And we can put all that back up. Now for this, I will use the Fabri-Tac again, and what I've been doing is just hitting both sides of this line. So that this glue will stick. I want it to go all the way down. And we're going to take this and put it, usually there's a pretty side now. Just going to put that there, run it all the way down where the glue is. Just going to rub it so that where the glue is, it will stick. I should have something underneath this to protect my mat. Now this is hanging a little, so I am going to bend that. Hold it down. And we've got our one side. Let that down a little bit. I felt a piece of it get on that mat. Now we're going to flip these and we're going to do the same thing to this other side. Run our line. Come up here a little bit higher. And I can always go back and add a little more if I need to. Like that. And there's a flatter side and a now this one I'm going to have a little edge there.